Okay, this video is called My Study Skills Book, and this comes out of, I spoke to some mothers recently who, are interested in helping their kids with their study skills for school. So I'm going to real quick go through the books and tell you about them. I have videos about study skills, okay? But I'll show you the books too, and you can watch the videos, do whatever you want, but just so you know what I can do to help you on this area. Okay, this is my picture of me in med school. Here's the first book I wrote along these lines. Was called The Medical Student's Guide to Top Board Scores. This book, I think, is only applicable to medical students. So the content of what they taught back when I was in med school in the 1980s is the same as it is now. There's very little new material. So this is a valuable book for medical students, okay? All right, now let me go to the next video here, the next slide. All right, now these are two of the more recent books. This is the first book I wrote, kind of an extended discussion of study skills after that, Medical Student's Guide to Top Board Scores. This is called Straight A at Stanford and on to Harvard. And this book is too big. This book right here is too big. So I wrote a newer version, a smaller version of it called Straight A at Stanford on to Harvard, teenage version. I was student athlete of the year at Stanford, graduated first in my medical school class, 99% board scores in med school, the highest possible, 99% in residency, student athlete of the year at Stanford, all this stuff. I was phenomenal at school. And I never took an honors class in high school, so believe me, I studied study skills, memory techniques, backwards and forwards, upside down. I know what it takes to crush any academic environment. All right, so this is the one that'll be most valuable. I would say this is a good book for a high school student and a college student and a grad student, okay? For a younger person, though, this is a better one called The Underground Guide to Study Skills. It's real small. Gosh, it's only about 130 pages, and they're really easy to read. I wrote this one just for, like a junior high kid could read this book and get the key points. It'll still be valuable for grad school kid. Most medical students have poor study skills. They just have high IQs, most of them, okay? And a lot of them really don't have high IQs. They really sort of don't deserve to be in medical school, but they are, okay? It is what it is. And I'm just telling you, having study skills, you bounce your IQ up about 30 points, okay? Why not do that? Why wouldn't anybody want to do that? Okay, now these other ones are a little different. Okay, well, here's the one I just showed you. This is the Underground Guide to Study Skills. This is the one for junior high kid, high school kid, but also for college and grad school, too. It tells you exactly what to do. There's just no backstory. There's hardly any backstory. This one about how to raise IQ and become a genius, this is a monster of a book. This is the one, I saw the Polgar sisters and how when parents were dedicated, like Mozart's father, to helping a kid, this is a monster of a book. So this is for a parent who really wants to help from their baby onward. Everything you could know about optimizing brain development in a child. Okay. All right, and the kind of stuff you'll see pictures of in these books is like, here's my magic bathroom. I got this idea from Mozart. He wrote, I think it only fitting to write while shitting. And I said, gee, I should have a table in my bathroom too. He used to write letters when he's in the bathroom. Okay, and I put a big textbook on here on the portable table. You slide it over with your foot. I put little paperbacks on here. And I got the idea also from Monty Python's where they said every sperm is sacred. I had the idea that every void is sacred. I still got a couple more books to show you, but I'm just showing you, these are the kind of things I'll show you and explain how they help me. And I was told I had a perfect score on my oral boards, even though there's no recorded score for my oral boards like on neuroradiology. I would take pictures of all the anatomical regions on here, differential diagnoses. I would take pictures of my heroes on the wall. This is in the basement bathroom of my original house that I had designed that was a masterpiece. That my ex-wife ruined it and made us move and ruined everything for the whole family. The place was like paradise. I've made videos about it. Had a tennis court in the yard, a wrestling mat. I had an indoor racquetball court, an indoor basketball court. She made us move. I should have stayed there. All right, anyways, let me show you what I got left for books here. Okay, this is just more things where I talk about knowledge management systems, condensed note system, outline format condensed note systems, index systems, acronyms, mnemonics, illustrated condensed notes, all these study skill things, okay? And then I also, when I first started writing books, I have a bunch of friends who are lawyers, and they told me that basically my writing had too many grammatical mistakes in punctuation or style, and I'm like, you guys are a pain in the ass. I got A in my Stanford writing class. But anyways, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to see if you're right. And I read everything I could read about how to write better, as well as rhyme forms, rhetoric forms, logic forms. I went through all this stuff. And I've written like 3 editions of it now. It's kind of a bit of a monster of a book too. So here it is. It's a big book, Rhyme, Rhetoric, and Logic. It's like having a PhD and knowing how to write. So I got a lot of experience studying writing. And the bottom line, it all comes down to write like you're talking to an intelligent friend. But I go through all the different methods and what's taught. And you want to know rhetoric. You want to know all those forms. I go through a bunch of the ideas of famous old writers. Okay, Holy Grail wisdom quotes. To learn the best things ever said by the great Greeks, Romans, Renaissance, Romantics, and recents. And it'll give you a pretty comprehensive introduction to the greatest things ever said in Western civilization. I do a little bit of Buddha, Confucius, not much. I think that Western civilization is complete in and of itself. There's a little bit it can learn from outside, but not that much. Okay, it's got pretty much everything you could want. So I've got that book. That book's this one right here. I do all those quote videos, do tons of quote videos. All right, and there's more quotes that I do than are in the book, of course, because the book's only about 800 pages. And then if you're interested in art history helps you to learn regular history. This is Best Christian Art, but it'll give you the inside scoop on the history of European civilization, and this book even more so. The other one, Best Christian Art, is more the beauty of Christian art. This one is more like, these are the achievements of Western civilization, and they're off the charts magnificent. And I'm currently doing videos from this book. So anybody who reads this, it'll prepare you to take a history class on anything to do with the ancient Greeks, the ancient Romans, European history, American history. Okay. So anyways, I think that's the last slide. Let's see here. Yeah, that's the end. Okay, so if anybody's interested in study skills books for their kids, this is what you need to know, or for themselves. So hope you found that helpful.